Hi, welcome everyone to today's session. So, we present you yet another AccuKnox webinar. The topic for today's webinar is cutting through the noise and automating security with precision using AccuKnox rule engines. So, we have Safir here. Safir is a solutions engineer at AccuKnox, and he will be diving deep into what are rule engines and how you can automate your ticket creation with rule engines by setting certain specific rules using the AccuKnox Synapse SaaS. So we'll be diving into how AccuKnox's rule engine streamlines incident response and reduces alert fatigue and makes your cloud container and code environments more secure and efficient. So the rules engine allows users to customize and automate ticket creation by selecting a specific data type, defining the criticality, and configuring specific ticket settings. So this ensures that you have a customized ticketing as per your necessities, and whenever a selected criteria is met, it gives you more control over your ticketing process. So as we continue through this webinar, feel free to drop your questions in the chat, and I will bring them up during our Q&A session, which will be done at the very end of the webinar. So I introduce you Safir, and he'll be taking you forward with the rules engine of AccuKnox. Over to you,
Okay,
Safir.
thank you, Deva. So here we are going to introduce AccuKnox rule engine and how we can use AccuKnox rule engine to cut the noise. In the sea of vulnerabilities, it is very critical. We need to prioritize the vulnerability based on the context or the severity of the issues, right? So, Adharva, can you please move the page to next one? Okay. The problem the Equinox rule engine is solving, false positive fatigue, right? So the majority of the cloud security alerts are always low priority or false positive issues only. Let me just give an example. Let's say suppose I have created an S3 bucket in the AWS region and I have made it public. So it is a critical misconfiguration in the AWS environment, right? But the thing is, I have also created it. I mean, let's say suppose I'm a DevSecOps engineer. I have a requirement to create a NIS3 bucket for my website, and I have created a policy. I mean, bucket policy to enforce only the public folder has been accessed by any user. Other folders, I mean, other files other than the allowed folder should be denied by default. I mean, I can create a policy, right? So once we do the cloud security scanning, the public bucket exposure will flag as a critical misconfiguration. But this is intended, right? I mean, I have created a security policy to only allow the user access, I mean, public access to public folder. I mean, any files outside of this public folder is denied by default. I think this is fine, completely fine, right? But at security, I mean, at cloud security scanning, this will flag as a misconfiguration. And suppose if I am a security engineer, I have found this issue, I will inform my DevOps engineer, right? And he will validate it and he will come back to me saying that, okay, this is intended feature only and the bucket policy is there to enforce the only the specific folder to be accessed publicly, right? But this validation might take time, right? So suppose I have a banking application and let's say suppose if it is microservice and there can be 20 services in that banking application, right? And for each repository, there can be 5 security tools and 5 CI/CD pipeline stages are involved. So it will introduce a lot of vulnerabilities or vulnerabilities in my banking application, right? So triaging is essential here. How we can assess and prioritize the vulnerabilities better in the sea of vulnerability. So if I consider this banking application and 20 microservices, and let's say there are 50 vulnerabilities for 20 repositories, it can be more than 1,000 vulnerabilities, right? So for assessing each vulnerability might take time. So we need a better or smart prioritization strategy here, right? Otherwise, we will drown in the sea of vulnerabilities. Okay. Uh, Otherwise, please move to the
Yes.
next slide. Oh.
Right.
So, how we can prioritize the vulnerabilities effectively? Here we need a smart alert system, right? We can prioritize the vulnerabilities based on the CVSS score. I mean, the priority, the severity score, or the EPSS score, OCWE, etc. These are standard parameters we can prioritize. And we need context also here. I mean, suppose there is banking application, and in that banking application, there can be a lot of services like account service, transaction service, or notification service. Here you see that notification service is non-essential. I don't need to prioritize any vulnerabilities in the notification service. I can effectively work on other priority items in the uh, transaction service or account service, right? So this is where asset context is needed here. So this is not just a technical problem now. It is a business risk. I mean, suppose I have that banking application. If I drawn into that banking application vulnerabilities, there can be some attacker. There might be some attack can be happened on my environment, and there can be. I mean, if I take too much time on triaging vulnerabilities, the attacker might compromise the system and stole the money, right? Steal the money. So we don't want this to be happen, right? Then we need a better prioritization system. So prioritization can be so here you see that AccuKnox Synapse. AccuKnox Synapse can provide prioritization and as well as the automation for the security prioritization. I mean the triaging. So AccuKnox Synapse is AccuKnox Zero Trust Synapse application is just an umbrella term. I mean under the Synapse hood, we are offering CSPM, KSPM, ASPM, AI security posture management, and Kubernetes security posture management, workload production platform, etc. Right. But
Yeah.
here in this, yes,
Yeah, so I have a question here. So, how does AccuKnox help in managing visibility across these different environments? So, our solution is deployed across different environments. It may be code, cloud, or other Kubernetes environments, right? So,
yes,
can you
yes.
give us a insight into how it offers visibility across all these diverse environments into a unified dashboard?
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. So, AccuKnox Zero Trust Synapse can integrate own cloud environments and DevSecOps pipeline and Kubernetes environments and aggregate all the findings in a single platform. Basically, a unified view for viewing all the vulnerabilities across your cloud environments, across the application, or across the Kubernetes clusters. Right. So in the CSPM, Cloud Security Posture Management, AccuKnox is natively offering continuous compliant monitoring and assistive remediation at regular intervals. So with that, we can see what are the misconfiguration or best practice violation in our cloud accounts. And AccuKnox Synapse can complement on the DevSecOps pipeline by integrating with the security tools and application by integrating with the security tools in the CI/CD pipelines and show all the vulnerabilities in AccuKnox dashboard. And AccuKnox can also natively provide support providing what are the misconfiguration or best practice violation in the Kubernetes environments. And it can also do benchmarking and compliance for the Kubernetes clusters. Right. Basically, we have a unified platform to see all the vulnerabilities across application, cloud, and Kubernetes environments. Right.
Right.
So
Makes sense. Yeah.
now, yeah, yeah, please.
Yeah. So now we'll be seeing a demo of the rules engine. So Safir will be sharing his screen and walking us through the dashboard and showcasing how you can set up these rules for automatic ticket creation. Yeah, Safir.
Yeah. Thank you. So here is the dashboard of AccuKnox platform. So in this dashboard, we can see, we can get a summary of what is my cloud security posture or application security posture or Kubernetes security posture. I mean, here by just going through this dashboard, I can get insights on my Kubernetes or my ecosystem security posture, right? So here you see that for just ASPM application security posture itself, we have more than 20, we have 29 widgets. For Kubernetes security posture, we have 26 widgets. And for CSPM cloud security posture management, we have 7 widgets, right? So this dashboard is included all of these widgets here.
Right. And is there a way to customize the dashboard based
Yes,
on my
yes,
needs? Okay.
yeah. Here you can see that I can create a dashboard and I can just name it. I can also add whatever the widgets I want.
Right.
That's it. I mean,
Great.
suppose the thing is, let's say, suppose there is a CISO level employee who wants to see overall posture of our organization. Then it is simple only. They can just create a customized dashboard and they can add the widgets as they want. Suppose there is security engineer who is only handling this AWS account. They can just filter out it and see what are the cloud security posture issues in that particular account, right? So in this dashboard, we can also get targeted details and as well as the organization level insights.
Okay, makes sense. Yes. And what would you say, Safir? How is it beneficial if we identify high risk vulnerabilities and we automatically ticket it to, let's say, ticketing systems like Jira or ServiceNow? So can you give us an estimate of how many hours or operational overhead is reduced with this, and how AccuKnox does it?
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. I can do that. So, as I said in the first slide, I have given an example, right? I mean, in a S3 bucket and the validation time. So, suppose in the findings, you can see that we can see all the findings in a single platform, right? Container finding, source code finding, KAM, Kubernetes security issues, and open graph issues, cloud security issues, container issues, etc. Right? Here in the AccuKnox, we are providing a life cycle for it, a status. Here you can request exception requested. I mean, you can change the status to exception requested, fixed, in progress, potential, accepted risk, duplicate, ignore, or something. Once you create it, I mean, once you change the status to ignored or something, this will not appear in the next security scan. Basically, suppose I have created an S3 bucket, and let's say suppose I have changed the status of that S3 bucket issue of ignored or exception requested status. It will not come up in the next cloud security scan, right? Then I don't want to struggle with the redundancy and deduplication, right?
Right.
So you can see that here we can directly create the ticket on Jira by integrating with a Jira platform. I mean Jira Cloud or Jira Server.
Right.
And they can also support other ticketing tools like ServiceNow or Fresh Service, etc. So you see that I have already integrated a ticketing platform here. I can click on the integration page and I can just demonstrate how we can integrate a Jira server here. So you see that email backend service now, Jira server, Jira cloud, fresh service, etc. We can integrate that with AccuKnox platform. And here we need to provide the details for it. Service desk URL and email, I mean the username and the secret for the integration. For the configuration, we need always a secret, right? Otherwise, how can we authenticate it, right?
Right.
So once you integrate that, once you provide that Jira Cloud credentials to AccuKnox, you can add configurations. Like here, you can mention the configuration name, and you can also customize the template. I mean, as I said, we can directly create the ticket in Jira, right, with the customized message that is subjective actually.
Right. And this is a one-time process, right? So once you do the configuration, you can do this for any of the alerts.
Yes, yes. So here I have selected Jira integration test project and I'm choosing the bug as, the ticketing creation, we need to choose the bug type, right? I mean, the issue type in the Jira platform. So
Right.
here you see that I'm choosing it as bug only. And I am remapping it with the severity. So one more thing I can show you here, command analysis. Suppose you have closed this ticket or you feel something is something this is duplicate or maybe this is exception requested or something like that, you can pass the rejects here and you can also automatically change the ticket status here, life cycle finding status basically.
Right. So
Okay.
an incident response team can actually go in, set rule based on their priorities, and help developers as well as security engineers or people who are watching the alerts to be more proactive and to channel the right alerts to the right people. I think that is the primary use case here. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Let me go back to the findings tab. So here you see that there are more than 1,000 vulnerabilities in the static code analysis, right? Static code analysis. And I can group it by vulnerability name to see what are the unique issues in my SAST.
Right.
And I have narrowed down the vulnerability count from 1,000 to 228 only, right?
Great.
And you see that I can also choose I can utilize this extensive filters to prioritize it better again. So we have narrowed down the vulnerability count from 1,000 to 78, right?
Right. Right.
So this is manual only again, right? Then this is where rule engine comes in. We can do this kind of things automatically by using the rule engine. So here is the rule engine process. So for the rule engine, we can define the criteria. CVSS can be greater than 8, or the label is equal to banking application, or the scanning type is equal to IAC or fast scanning, etc. Right? And we can choose the action based on the defined criteria. I mean, suppose if this criteria has matched, this action will trigger, and we can route the action to we can also route the action. Here you see that create ticket, change status, send alert. These are the actions in AccuKnox platform for rule engine, and we can route it to Jira service now or Slack or PagerDuty, or we can even change the status of that finding. Assume that we don't want to we want to ignore all the low vulnerabilities or information vulnerabilities. We can create a rule engine here. If the risk score matches low and uh, informational, just we need to define the action also, change the status to ignore. That is done. You don't need to struggle about the low and information vulnerabilities anymore.
Right. And if users also come across toxic combinations, like a CVSS of something is 8 and the web proxy is turned on or a port is open. So there are some toxic combinations, right? So you can
Yes, yes, yes.
also get visibility into such toxic combinations and create high priority tickets for these using that, right?
Yeah, yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
So we can add more criteria. That is subjective again. So here, as I said, we can do smart prioritization by using the severity factors and by using the business factors. The asset criticality, right? So here you see that I have created role here. Role name is spoke, and I am choosing the data type as IAC scanning. I'm going to demonstrate IAC scanning here and how we can automatically change the status to something and how we can automatically create if there are high vulnerabilities, right? So let me just change the status to potential here, and I'm going to create the ticket on integrated Jira platform. Here you just notice that the last ticket is 922 here. Okay, let me just update this action. Okay, I have updated the action now. So the last scan is on 6:55, right? So let
Right.
me trigger the IAC scanning here. So here is the vulnerable Terraform snippet, and I'm using AccuKnox GitHub Action plugin to scan my IOC repository, infrastructure as code repository. So here I have mentioned the required endpoint token, tenant ID, etc., label, etc., for authenticating on AccuKnox platform. Okay, let me just re-trigger it. Re-trigger it. Okay, it's completed. So you see that we have some findings here. The last scan is on 821, and this is 821 only. And in my use case, I use a repository. I mean, this is my organization name. I mean, the user name, and here is the repository name, and here is the branch name. Okay, these are the
Right.
two findings in my ISG repository. And there are two high vulnerabilities, high risk factor issues, right? So the status is automatically changed to potential. And let me show you, just refresh it. Okay. Let's wait for a couple of minutes again. I think 923. Yeah, I think the ticket has been created here, 923. So yeah, we can automate this kind of actions by using some criteria. That is what AccuKnox introducing uh, as a rule engine. So
Right.
let
So
me,
we saw an end-to-end security chain here. So your ISC, like your ISC environment was scanned. It showed the findings in the dashboard, and based on the rules that you created, it also populated the Jira tickets based on your chosen template. So this is a kind of an end-to-end security type of stuff. So I think it's definitely valuable for people who are assessing tools. And like tools basically that deal with CI/CD security and DevSecOps pipelines, and basically have a lot of build a lot of code, push a lot of code to production. So yeah.
yeah. So now we have seen a unified platform to view all the vulnerabilities across cloud, application, and Kubernetes environments, right? And we have seen there is a life cycle for all the findings. They can change the status to ignored, or maybe exception requested, or false positive, etc. So we have projects, tags, and groups to organize the things. I mean, organize the assets and findings in AccuKnox. And on top of this, the rule engine comes here. The rule engine can do automation by using the severity factors, and by using the uh, asset contextual, and also it can do actions like create ticket and send notifications to notification channels, or changing the status of finding. So by this way, we can reduce a lot of false positive. So that is about the presentation. I hope I hope you have got some insights on AccuKnox and how we are cutting into the modern security.
Right. So we will be taking any questions if you have any questions, and we are currently flashing a link to our help documentation that shows a step-by-step guide and breakdown of the demo that we performed. So if you want a trial or if you want a demo, please scan the QR code on the top right of the screen, and you can book a call with us. You can have a free risk assessment, and identify. This was just part of the tip of the iceberg, but we have a lot of products, we have a lot of modules. So if you want to experience all the ASPM, CSPM, CWPP related modules, book a free risk assessment and get in contact with AccuKnox so that we can build a demo for you that is tailored according to your organizational needs. Yeah. Okay, we don't currently have any open questions, so I think we can conclude. Thank you, sir.